Hey, my love. I'm so glad I found you. I'm so glad I found you. I'm so glad we found each other. I miss you, friend. All right, so full transparency. I have been asked since March that I needed to go ahead and launch these messages and get these messages out to you, my love, right? And I gotta be honest that I have been procrastinating with these particular type of messages. I mean, I've been on my other platform on Instagram, but I have not listened to Spirit as I was instructed to launch this channel back in March. Okay, so let me just say, for some of you, the question is, why does nothing seem to be working, right? And a lot of you right now are in positions where you're feeling very uncomfortable, okay? So I've been meditating on this message, I want to say, for a couple of days now. Really, a lot of people with this eclipse that just happened last week, I believe, right? You were able to gain full transparency in things. You were able to see what was behind the veil. Some things that you felt you didn't know, or maybe had an inclination, were full blasted for you to be able to see and gain a deeper level of understanding, right? So now, this energy right now where we are is kind of like rooted in root chakra energy. So this is energy about your stability. This is energy about your finances. This is energy about survival mode. This is energy about family, right? So these are the things energetically where a lot of people are having to deal with things right now. So root chakra, stability at a whole, because we have now shifted timelines, okay? And some of us are trying to hold on to the old timeline to do things in the new timeline, and it's not going to work that way. And as a matter of fact, one of the indications that you can feel that you shifted to the new timeline is that some of you are fighting to keep things the old way. But no matter how you try to put those puzzles together, things are not working the way that they used to, whether it's financially because you're trying to make something happen in your career or a job, whether it's something you're trying to make happen in your business and you've been prompted to move a different direction. But because this particular thing is what you know and how you've been comfortable in it and how you've rested in this, right? This is what you feel safe in. This is what you keep pushing. And Spirit is saying, no, we're in a new timeline. Things have shifted. You're no longer going to be able to go about doing things the old way. You're going to have to find new ways to do things. You're going to have to sit, some of you, in that uncomfortable space where you are right now and do the work and work some things out. Like, okay, so let's just dive into the message, okay? Now, I want to say what I kept hearing Spirit say was a lot of this shift that's happening in this timeline is going to show up on a mental and an emotional level. For some people, it's going to feel like you have an enormous amount of pressure. For some people, it's going to feel like you're running out of time. For some people, it's going to feel like you can't get anything right. For some people, it's going to come around guilt. For some people, it's going to come in as like anxiety, right? You're going to even find that for some people, there's just this combative energy that you have with other people, and you can't try to figure it out because you're not coming in combative, right? But when you're dealing with other people, it's like a pushback, right? Now, so Spirit is saying you're going to have to pay attention to how you entertain the thoughts that's happening in your head right now, okay? Especially thoughts around, I want to say, balancing your resources, your finances, balancing your relationship, right? Becoming adaptable to the places where you don't feel so comfortable, right? Because now what was once comfortable is no longer comfortable, right? And Spirit is saying there's a sense of feeling overwhelmed because you may not necessarily know how to move. You may not necessarily know what step to take. You may not necessarily know what direction to go in, right? And for some of us, we like to have all of the pieces put together, and you'd like to have a laid out plan. You know, I'm just saying, I like to have a laid out plan. I like to have all of the pieces together. And Spirit is saying that's not how you're going to be able to move in this energy, right? There is a huge transformation happening, especially as Pluto transitioned back over into Aquarius. It's asking you to really step into your uniqueness, and Saturn is asking you to let go of the tail end of the things that's no longer useful for you, right? But this is not happening so much on a physical level first. This is first happening on an energetic level mentally and emotionally, right? And some people are going to find that you're going to find that it is time for you to maybe do some shadow work. Maybe it is time for some of you that have been feeling like you're walking through the dike, not the dike, but the dark night of the soul, because you're feeling overwhelmed. You're getting messages, but you can't really trust your messages because your messages is pulling you out of your comfort zone, right? Your messages are telling you to do things different because the things that you're doing the same, they're no longer working, right? So there's a place of pain where a lot of people have been suffering in silence. Because you've been looking at what success means to you, not just externally as far as your accolades and the things that you've accomplished, but maybe even in your relationship, right? Maybe even as parents, right? Maybe even, I want to say, in some, and this is what I'm hearing. You're having the need to release the things that are no longer, and the word that keeps popping up is fulfilling, right? The things that are no longer fulfilling is what you're going to have to learn to release in this season. And that can be relationships, right? You know that you need to stay, right? You know that you need to stay, but you feel like running, right? So that makes you uncomfortable because you know you need to maybe stay and work something out, but you feel like running. Or the flip side, you know you need to go, but you're trying to hold on to this relationship, and you know that that's not what you need to be doing in this time, right? So there's a dynamic where somebody needs to stay and somebody needs to sit in the uncomfortability because they need to reflect and look at themselves, and somebody needs to go because this is no longer working. You've identified your toxic patterns and your toxic behaviors, and it's not, and I kind of feel like for some people this is not just in relationships. This is even how you think about money. This is even how you think about success. This is even how you think about your spiritual walk, right? Like there are these limited thoughts and limited emotions from past things that you have not necessarily dealt with. And as you're coming into this new energy, this new shift, this new timeline, it's like magic is unfolding all around you, but you can't really tap into that magic because you're still holding on to things that no longer serve you, right? And although you're concerned about your stability, and although you're concerned about, and when I hear stability, I'm feeling stability not just on a, for some people it's physical, yeah, but even for the people where you're feeling, a little bit anxiety around your stability and your finances, what Spirit is saying that you're going to have to connect to that emotional and that mental part of you, because that's what's going to help you to get to the other side, right? So I'm hearing you're going to need to release your fears. You're going to have to tap into what's really making you anxious. You're going to have to tap in maybe to that subtle wave of energy that comes in when you got your shoulders up, right? Why do you have your shoulders up? Why are you stiff when this person walks into the room? Why do your shoulders get tense when you think about this particular thought? Why do you get a knot in your stomach when you're having this particular conversation, right? So those are the things that you're going to have to pay attention to as we're in this new timeline shift, because this shift is going to require mental and emotional commitment to your truth. Okay, let me say that again. This shift is going to require a commitment to your mental and your emotional inner truth. Okay, now some of those truths no longer work for you where you are now. Some of you are still trying to repeat old truths that no longer work for you, and you're wondering why you can't get things done or why things are not unfolding. And let me just say this, because I'm hearing Spirit say, some of you have planted seeds and feel like you haven't reaped the harvest for the seeds that you've planted, right? But can I tell you, Spirit said the harvest is here, right? But it's not going to grow in this old timeline, right? You planted it in the old timeline, right? Because you were doing the work in the old timeline, but it's going to spring forth in the new timeline. It's going to spring forth in this new energy. But for you to be able to experience all of this change, all of this love, all of this abundance, and I'm not even just talking about abundance in a financial level. I'm talking about abundance on a emotional and mental level, like feeling happy, like you literally stepping outside and hearing the birds sing and feeling joyful because you can hear the birds sing, right? I'm talking about stepping outside and seeing a freaking lizard walk by, and you feel joyful just to see a colorful blue and red lizard, right? Just to see nature. It's kind of like being able to be grateful for even the smallest aspect, right? The smallest aspect of what life is giving you right now is how you can practically start to see this magic unfolding, and how you can begin to see stability coming into your life. You're going to have to learn to let things flow. I hear Spirit say, learn how to free fall to the universe, right? You know, free fall backwards. Spirit is saying, learn how to free fall. This is a season where you need to learn how to free fall into the universe, knowing that the universe got your back. All you got to do is trust. Now, I want to say this, right? I hear Spirit saying, go back to the times when you were in a predicament and you just released and let go and surrendered, and the universe worked it out, right? Go back to that time. I'm also hearing stop, right? Stop feeling trapped. Stop feeling restricted. Stop feeling like you're backed into a corner. Stop feeling like your hands are tied. Stop being the victim, right? Allow yourself to feel whatever you want to feel, but you need to stop labeling yourself trapped, restricted, feeling like you backed into a corner, feeling like pressure or hopelessness. Stop, right? Stop. What you need to be doing in this energy is be honest with yourself, right? So when you feel the hopelessness, when you feel the victimization coming on, when you feel like you're feeling trapped, right? That is the time that you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to begin to see what you need to separate yourself from. Physically, mentally, emotionally, or maybe even spiritually, that no longer works for you, right? You need to be able to know that there's going to be major choices and decisions that you're going to have to make in this energy, okay? You're going to have to make some decisions. You're going to have to make some choices, right? Now, this is what and I kind of feel like a lot of people are tapping into this, right? You're going to be in a space where you are not necessarily going to know everything, but you're going to have to trust in the unknown. You're going to have to trust your intuition like no other before. And I kind of feel like you're going to have to tap into the space of love, because Venus is popping up here, right? Like a love and offer. You're going to have to tap into a space of love, right? But as you're tapping into the space of love, it can't be external love. This has to be a love that's coming deep from within you. Now, for some people, like, you're going to have to go back to basics, like looking at yourself in the mirror, okay? And reminding yourself how loved you are, reminding yourself that the universe loves you, reminding yourself that you are this big, beautiful ball of love and no weapon formed, and everything that you've experienced up until now is not against you, but it's for you. It's helping to elevate you. It's giving you the tools that you need. It's giving you the wisdom that you need. It's giving you the confidence that you need. Everything that you need is right here, right now. But you are going to have to be able to feel it. You're going to have to be able to sense it. And you just stop. Just stop feeling like you don't have choices. Okay, you do have choices. Stop feeling trapped. Stop feeling betrayed. And I'm not saying that somebody hasn't betrayed you. Trust me. Okay. I just experienced some stuff with this eclipse Hunte, okay? That knocked me out for a few days. Like I couldn't, it knocked me out for a few days where I couldn't eat. I found myself just, okay, universe. I see what's unfolding, okay? Whew, I'm gonna breathe. But I'm going to tell you the truth. This sucks. This sucks, right? And I knew I needed to begin to separate myself mentally and emotionally to be able to get to the other side of that. But it freaking sucked. I'm not even going to lie, right? Pay attention to the toxicity around you, right? Pay attention to the things that have you feeling trapped and bounded. Pay attention to the patterns or the loops that you're in right now, right? Pay attention to the things that you've been avoiding because they're uncomfortable. That's what you need to really step into right now. If the spaces of you that feel uncomfortable, but if you don't get into the spaces of you that feel uncomfortable, you're not going to be able to make it to the other side. And I promise you, once you get to the other side of this, and I swear to you, because I've been meditating on this message for like two days. days now. Once you get to the other side of this, and I can't make this up because it came out in the cards, right? There's going to be a sense of sweetness and a sense of peace. Like this peace that surpasses all understanding. Is kind of like this peace where you rest and you don't know how this is going to work out. You don't know exactly what you need to do next week, but right now you're okay. You're going to have to do that free fall. You're going to have to take that risk within yourself. They're not even asking you to take a risk externally. Like they're asking you to take a risk within yourself, right? Start loving yourself, start trusting yourself, start forgiving yourself, right? And because this is another thing. I feel for somebody, you were quick to forgive somebody, but you haven't forgiven yourself. So you were quick to forgive somebody. Now you feel like a sucker. You feel like somebody got over on something, right? Or you could even be feeling like you're quick to accept people for who they are, right? And you're quick to forgive people, but people are not as forgiving. Like people hold grudges, right? But can I just tell you, just free fall, release it. You want to be able to free fall. You want to be able to release it, okay? You got the Fool energy coming in. You got the Sun energy coming in. The Fool is asking you to take a risk. The Fool is saying new beginning is here. The Fool is saying forgive. Understand that everything on this path is to get you to this moment right here. This moment right here where you're being able to nurture yourself, where you're being able to be compassionate towards yourself, which then helps you to be compassionate and nurturing and loving towards other people. But this needs to come from within. The message is very simple. Some of us are trying to bring other people over into this new timeline with us, and that is not how it works. If they have not committed themselves to this new timeline, to this new energetic shift, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, which is then going to reflect physically, there is nothing that you can do about that. You cannot do other people's spiritual work for them. You cannot. It's going to be very imperative, right, that you understand that you cannot, right? Now, some of you may even feel like you're going through this unexpected storm and you don't quite even know when the rain is going to stop pouring or when the thunder is going to get a little softer or when the lightning is going to stop crackling. You don't know these things, right? But what Spirit is saying, you can think of it as a washing away of the old so the new can come in, right? So even if you're crying a lot of tears in this season, you need to know that no tear or no hurt or no pain that you're experiencing, once you are able to begin to do practical things where you can come back to your center and find your boom, okay, boom. It's like you're being reintroduced to your new self, right? So because we have many levels of growth and many levels of awareness and many levels of, I want to say, maturity, evolution, of evolving, right? And it's kind of like the old you has shed skin and you stepped into the new you, but it's unfamiliar, right? It's unfamiliar and it could be a little dark, like you can't see in the dark yet. Your eyes haven't really began to see the forms and the shapes in the dark yet. So it's unfamiliar. And you don't quite know how to step. You don't quite know how things are going to pan out. But I promise you, find ways to ground yourself in your root chakra, because this has to do with your stability. And one of the ways that you can do that is meditation, taking a walk in nature, journaling, spiritual baths, right? And I want to say be mindful. As much as you want to vent to your friends, as much as you want to vent to, your sister, your brother, as much as you want to vent to the people that love you, that support you, it's even more important that you vent to yourself so you can hear your own inner voice first. Your own inner voice is going to be needed for you to be able to get to the other end of this, right? But I feel like, the butterfly is coming out of the crystals, right? It's breaking out of the cocoon. And when the butterfly begins to break out of the cocoon, it's tight in there, right? It got to do a lot of stretching, a lot of moving. And it's not the most comfortable place because the wings want to expand and the wings can't expand because you're in this shell, right? And that's what's unfolding right now. You're being asked to be honest with yourself, to pay attention to the messages that's been flowing in, to pay attention to the blockages, and to pay attention to not to push towards trying to fix old things that are broken, right? That's not the goal. The goal now is to understand the lesson from those broken things, because you're in new energy and you're being asked to sit in the uncomfortability so you can find you. It's like you're being reintroduced to yourself at this time, right? Pay attention to what's toxic that doesn't work, right? Main thing here is loving you. And sometimes loving you requires you maybe shedding some tears. Sometimes loving you requires maybe walking away from something. Sometimes loving you maybe just be accepting something. Sometimes loving you is just surrendering to something. Sometimes loving you is just saying, I need help. Right? And I'm not talking about external help, like really sitting with yourself, right? Doing the work and sitting with yourself, right? And feeling, right? And processing, right? And not pointing the finger externally, not even pointing the finger internally, but giving yourself the space for you just to be, just to be, just to be. That's it. Just to be. And what are you being? You're being loved, right? You're being loved. It's kind of like, you know, for those of you that have children, nieces, nephew, you know, you see the little baby and the little baby's crying because they fell down, and you pick the baby up and you know, the toddler up, and you hug the baby and you kiss the baby, you kiss the boo-boo, and you let the baby know the boo-boo is going to be okay. That's what you need to be doing in this season. You need to begin to give yourself the love, the appreciation, the gratitude. I want to say the confidence that you've been seeking externally. You want to give yourself that. You want to rest in knowing that the universe got you. You want to rest in knowing that every single freaking thing that you can dream of, that you can imagine, that you can contemplate in your mind, everything is right here, right now, waiting for you to surrender and say yes, waiting for you to let go of the old, waiting for you to just say, I am worthy, waiting for you to say, I am ready, waiting for you to say, I am loved, waiting for you to say whatever it is that you have not been saying to yourself. Okay, so message is clear. Okay, my love, we are in a new timeline, and you're not going to be able to bring the old baggage, the old thoughts, the old emotions, unforgiveness. I want to say even expectations. You're not even going to be able to bring in expectations of other people. Even like you're going to have to walk out into the unknown, right? You're going to have to walk out into the unknown, and you're going to have to know that even in the wilderness, in the unknown, that you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're already okay. All right. So my love, I am happy that I listened to Spirit. This was good. I'm going to be back with another video. This was good. Now, here's the deal, right? You want to be kind to yourself. You want to love yourself. You want to accept yourself. You want to embrace yourself, right? You want to forgive yourself. You want to remind yourself that you are powerful, that you are all-knowing. You want to remind yourself that the love that you seek in others, you have in yourself, right? And on that note, be kind to somebody else, not maybe because they deserve it, but because you can. But before you can do that, you definitely need to be kind and loving to yourself. Okay, I love you. I'm glad I found you. Okay, I'm glad you found me. And I'm going to see you with your next message. Bye, my love.